Better than your average. Better than your average.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and the man that is always heard and never ever will be seen, Skeens. Better Than Your Average is the channel and the movement. How Did We Get Here is the show. Got two cousins that are like brothers talking any and everything in the process. How did we get here? Got to make sure we get Skeens' AKAs off, AKA the background killer. AKA Osama Ware, AKA the Wizard of Oz, AKA Dr. Claw, AKA President but not accounted for, AKA coming to a theater near you but you'll never see it.
Tickets are available but they're not available.
Thank y'all for coming back, tuning in to another episode of How Did We Get Here? How did we get here? Man, we about to get right to the action, right to the smoke. Me and Skeens waited with bated breath. Had many discussions behind the scenes to talk about the Slizzap, the slap. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw the slap. We said we waited, man, and we wanted to, hear varying opinions from all different sides. We've been listening to reading articles, looking at all different types of fodder, those against, those for, conversations of mental health on both sides. Conversations of, us always talking about relationships. Everything. A partridge in a pear tree. I think, I always tell y'all on different posts, y'all usually try to read about 100 comments, but I think over this week I've read thousands and thousands and thousands of comments. So just trying to get a good vibe of what people are thinking. And, I know some people like, in the grand scheme of things, what does this matter? But this is Will Smith is a American culture icon. He's an international superstar, but he's a part of the fabric of the culture of America. Mm-hmm. Chris Rock is also an icon comedically, but Will Smith's star by way of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and everything he did after that, his impact, again, is cultural. Will Smith is that dude where he can go anywhere and be recognized on the globe type of fame. You know what I mean? So us never seeing him in a situation like this, him being cool, calm, collective. Will Smith, I can admittedly say he's one of those kind of dudes that, like they say, women want to be with and men want to be.
He's a clean, from a standpoint of being recognizable. Yeah. He's the clean-cut version of Snoop.
Right. You know what I mean? Like we say, Snoop can go anywhere. I'm sitting there watching the Super Bowl, The
oldest to the youngest person, everyone know who Snoop is. Same thing with Will.
Yeah, Trey doesn't listen to any rap or anything like that, y'all. But he's like, and during the Super Bowl performance, he's like, "Hey, Daddy, that's Snoop Dogg." I'm like, this dude ain't never heard a Snoop Dogg song in his life. But again, he knows who that is. So if you've been under a rock, long story less long, it's the 90-something Oscars. Will Smith has won some other awards for his portrayal in a great film of Richard Williams, father to Serena and Venus Williams, and the movie's called King Richard. So it's pretty much like it's one of those things, like it's supposed to be a slam dunk that he's gonna win Best Actor, this year. So he's on the front row. And it's normal show, comedians are up there or whoever the presenters are, and they're making jokes. They're looking at people in the audience, making jokes. Now this, I don't know, again, because there's so many reports out there right now. I thought Chris was maybe freestyling when he said what he said. Other people saying that Amy Schumer wrote the joke. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because they do have writers on the Oscars and all that other kind of stuff. So neither here nor there. He looks at Jada. He says, I can't remember the joke he said before. They laughed. Then he looks at it and says, "Love you. Can't wait to see you in G.I. Jane 2. Will Smith laughs. The audience laughs. Some kind of like, oh. And he's like, hey, that was a nice one. Jada looked like she's not feeling it, right? So Chris Rock is getting ready to present. Oh, by the way, the award that he's presenting for is to his great, who has a possibility to win, Questlove from the Roots. Shout out to the legendary Roots crew. Questlove is up for his documentary that he did, right? So anyway,
Summer of Soul.
Summer of Soul, great doc if you haven't seen it. So he's getting ready to keep going, and then like the camera's on him, and he's like, he starts laughing. He's like, "Uh-oh, Richard," and Will Smith walks on stage, slaps him in the face, and he sits back down. To which Chris is like, "Whoa," and he's like, "Will Smith just smacked the ish out of me," and he said, "You hear him now on the American version, because again, the Oscars is internationally shown. On the American version, they start to bleep things and the sound cuts, but on the international version that most of us have seen, Will's like, "Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth." And then Chris goes, "Dude, it's a G.I. Jane joke." "Yes, keep my wife's name out your mouth." And he said, "I'm going to." And after that, it's just super duper awkward. Will is not escorted out. Nobody comes. Again, we see later in other videos that people have that people are talking to Will. Denzel talks to him. Tyler Perry talks to him. Chris Rock still presents the award. Questlove comes up, wins, blah, 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 blah. But I would definitely say this is one of the weirdest award show moments outside of the Source Awards, notwithstanding, for those of you old enough to remember that. But Skeen, what happened? How did we get here? How did we get here?
A lot of foolishness.
Oh, and y'all, I know y'all wondered about, there's a whole story behind this. I forgot, man. Shout myself out. This is my 40th birthday. Man, shout out to me. I turned 40, baby, March 18th. I'm officially grown. But in honor of the Oscars, this is why I'm so dressed up, y'all, in my golden, not golden, golden. But want to give our salute to the Oscars and me and Skeen's version of it. But how did we get here, bro? How did we get here?
This has been a journey in the making. Well, and we look, okay, side note.
Side of a side.
The G.I. Jane joke.
Yeah.
It didn't really hit.
Bro, it was light.
It was a light joke.
It was light.
Now, if they did say Amy Schumer wrote it, I think Chris should have threw that back and got a better joke.
Right.
But at the same time, the G.I. Jane joke, maybe Will looked at it on a deeper spectrum.
Okay. I'm going to give you this reach. Go ahead.
Okay. And I'm reaching.
Yeah.
Long
reach.
Scottie Pippen arms.
Yeah.
The G.I. Jane played by Demi Moore.
Okay.
She did somewhat sleep with a younger man, allegedly, because she left Bruce Willis and she started messing with Ashton. So maybe that's what.
That's a reach, boy.
It's a reach.
Like at Lethal Weapon with Riggs, man, that's real thin, man. That's thin.
But at the same time, there's a correlation.
Wait, let's stay there for just a quick second. And again, let us know what y'all think. But I joked with my sister-in-law that some people that are mad aren't even old enough or really don't even remember what G.I. Jane was about. And she was like, "Jay, I had to explain to a younger chick at work what G.I. Jane was about." And for the record, y'all, G.I. Jane was about a woman who wanted to be a Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Y'all, Google Navy SEAL training or whatever right now. It's one of the most grueling physical and mental tests that you can do.
Yes. Where
people tap all the time.
So even with that, 60% of the men
failure. So for me, again, you would hope that cooler heads would prevail, but it is talking about her short hair, but it's also saying, hey, that chick was bad. That was a tough chick. Yep. She passed the Navy SEAL training.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think that's what get lost.
Yes.
The joke was about the short hair, right?
Right.
The nuances is G.I. Jane in that movie, she was a woman that overcame a lot of
A
obstacles.
whole bunch of obstacles. And dudes didn't want her to be here. They didn't want her in that space. What is she doing
There
here?
was sexism and a lot of ridicule.
Absolutely.
A lot of people. She fought against the odds.
Right. Absolutely.
And came on top. So really, the movie is about a woman and being very empowered. And as we talked about, that movie is more empowering than pretty much every Lifetime movie I've watched with my mother.
Don't get me started on Lifetime.
Yeah, a lot of. I've yet to see a Lifetime movie where a woman come out on top. Every one of them, she getting beat, she getting done bad. Yeah. But even within this movie, you saw that it showed that this was like one of the original movies of showing that women are.
Right. You would think that joke would have went over so well in this women's independent woman empowerment age that we're in.
If that movie was to come out today,
right,
it probably would. We
would be doing think pieces on it. This shows little girls what they can do, what their potential is.
Yeah,
they're just as good as the boys. Now we ain't gonna get into the whole men versus women, physically, sports, all that thing.
That's
but
a whole nother conversation.
Keep cooking where you were at, though.
Well, but the thing is, so it gets lost how empowering that movie was towards women.
Yeah.
So now the correlation of the hair. Chris Rock said he was unaware that she had alopecia.
Right.
I didn't even know.
Right.
So people said that she came out years ago. For many years, he thought he didn't know it. And once again, if he didn't write the joke, who knows if Amy Schumer or whoever wrote that joke knew about it.
Right.
But for many years, she's had short hair.
Yeah, she's been known for having a short cut different times. Yeah.
So I know some women are saying that, well, you're making fun of a black woman's hair.
Right.
If he wasn't aware that she had a condition, he thought maybe that was just a style. Maybe that's all he saw. Lupita.
Right.
When she came out, she had very, very short hair.
Yeah, for sure.
And we talked about how beautiful she was.
Absolutely.
So it's not a hair thing. If we're championing you with short hair, their daughter has short hair.
Right.
Now, does she have the same condition, or maybe she just had as a piece?
I think she was supposed to be. She did it in support of her mom.
Well, she did it prior too. You remember she had the song "I Whip My Hair Back and Forth." When
Will talked about her cutting her hair.
Will talked about them going on tour. She said that she didn't want to do it, and he was like, "Well, we promised Mr. Jay-Z." She cut all her hair off.
Right. Indeed, you're right.
So, that was a statement back then that she made she consciously made that decision to cut her hair off.
Yes.
So if she felt empowered enough to cut her hair, how are we then saying that you're looking down on a woman for not having longer hair?
Right.
Now, Chris. Then some people try to make the correlation. Well, Chris did he did direct the movie Good Hair. Then Chris understands that there's different dynamics of hair.
Yeah.
Whether long, short, straight, kinky, no matter what it is, he's showing that one. Regardless of how you feel about it, you're just as compliant if you're indulging in this multi-billion-dollar industry. Also, number two is, so when they say, well, women are dealing with these things because of hair. Well, thank Madam C.J. Walker, one of ours, who empowered, who was the first one to come out with these different chemicals that many women loved.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the thing is, the men you were with loved those natural hair, the natural hair that you had, because during the Afro phase, it didn't stop you. It didn't stop you from getting looks. It didn't stop Pam Grier. It didn't stop whoever you was with, the women was with at that time.
Right.
They still loved you for you.
Indeed.
If you made a subconscious subconscious attempt or decide to change your hair to look like someone else. Now we're talking about internal situations. This is an internal fight that you're having.
Right.
So if we have those, so now we got to do the work.
There you go.
Of saying that why do I feel this way?
Right. Yeah.
You can't say you can't say it's because of men. Well, we were told by some women, hey, the alteration that women are making on their bodies, these BBLs and all the other things, they're not doing it for men. So we're doing it for us. Well, then that means that you're doing these things to change your hair and whatever you're doing, the extensions and all the other chemicals that you may be getting, then that means that you're doing it for you.
Yeah.
So then if you're doing it for you, then you can't blame someone else to say, well, I'm doing this because of the stereotype. No, if you're doing it for you, you're doing it for you.
Right.
That means the stereotypes means absolutely nothing. Now, side note is this, right?
Side of a side.
You know, it all correlates.
Yes, sir.
Then let's double back to the August thing and showing.
Okay, let's
right?
go there. Yep.
My question is this. Because when Will walked on the stage, Will seemed like a very hurt person.
Okay.
We've seen over the years, he's been the butt of the jokes.
Yeah.
Whether and a lot of the jokes were internally created because the red table talk.
Right.
Your wife talked about you and your sex life and how you don't please different things, so on and so forth. So you become the butt of this joke.
Yep.
Now, you factor in the August Alsina situation, right?
Okay.
We throw August in here. Mm-hmm. What is August also? Outside of being the friend of your son that you had sex with, or an entanglement, or however you want to spin it. Yeah. Because if that was the other way around, this is a whole other conversation.
Right.
But what was August? A hurt individual.
He was, yeah. He was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff. So mental health, alcohol or drug addiction, all that.
Okay. So August.
Yeah.
Hurt individual, right? Yeah. Jada is with Will.
Yeah.
As we're seeing, the way this Will is interacting is displaying the emotions of a person that's hurt. Mm-hmm. What is the correlation, and why is Jada attracting hurt people? Because she also said when she got with August, she wanted to feel good. So these are hurt people, hurting people. But is a magnetic attraction of the hurt people.
Yeah. Trauma. So, they call it a trauma bond.
Exactly. Yeah. So then to show how it also flips over to the situation. Yeah. Because there's a lesson that she needs to learn. There's a lesson. Well, there's a lesson all parties involved need to learn.
For sure.
Because her trauma attracted his trauma, and maybe Will and Jada are not together because of love or marriage. They're codependent. They're traumatically codependent. It may not be a real word, but
but we like it. Hashtag traumally.
But there's a codependency there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they haven't decided to move themselves in a different manner.
Yeah.
So then we talk about Chris and we talk about Will.
Okay.
Another correlation.
Okay.
Will talks about in his book that he felt weak.
Yes.
And he felt that when he saw his dad beat his mom.
He was 9 years old, and he saw his dad beat his mom basically till I think blood came out her mouth.
And he felt like a weak guy.
Yeah, because he couldn't protect her.
Okay. Then we spin it over other side of the slapper felt weak. So now he's doing the slapping because when you lose this anger, it's based off because you can't control the situation.
Yeah, indeed.
The one that's being slapped also deals with the same trauma of feeling weak because he was getting bullied.
Right, and let's dig into that a little bit.
So we see how it is a mirror. Every situation is a mirror.
We mirror relate. That's what we do in these relationships. We mirror.
The slapper and the ones being slapped. There's a mirror right there.
Absolutely.
And no one's paying attention to what's in the mirror.
And I was sharing with y'all with Skeens because a lot of people said it, but I was watching Charlemagne, the guy, and he was like, "Who checking on Chris?"
Exactly.
And Skeens and I were talking about it, but he's like, "Who checking on Chris?" And so these different the algorithms, y'all, different things have been coming up where Chris Rock, these old interviews are popping up. And it was really, really just, if you think about it, because I think some people think Chris Rock was a sucker for what he did, what he didn't do. But I really think what he showed is how to stay cool and calm under pressure and what the real man move was to make. Now, we're going to discuss shortly what we really think, right, wrong, all that kind of stuff, right? And the overall greater conversation that we should be having. But I think it was interesting, man, and I shared it with my mom today, is that I think it was 2 or 3 interviews, but one of them, Chris Rock was talking about for him growing up, and at one point where he was going to school, he was one of the few black kids. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I was getting beat up every day, right? And he's like, he would compare it to, if you've seen the Shawshank Redemption, if you never saw it, Go and stream Shawshank Redemption.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
One of the greatest films ever. But the character, Morgan Freeman does some of the best narration. I think that's where it started, really, was at Shawshank. But the character, Andy Dufresne, there's a point when he goes to jail, and he wasn't supposed to be in jail. He was in jail for years. Mm-hmm. But when he first got there were males in there that were essentially bullying, beating him, and even, they don't show it, but you think that maybe Andy, got raped, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, I was Andy Dufresne, and he said, I wasn't raped, but rapish type stuff happened to me. And then he went on and told another story, where he's like, I wasn't getting just regular kind of bullied. He was like, I was bullied to where dude literally held me upside down by my legs and shook money out of my pockets, right? And then he told a story of taking a brick to school and hitting this guy upside the head with it and then stomping him out. He said Joe Pesci style. And the dude was so hurt, like he really thought he was severely, life-altering hurt. And upon doing therapy later in life, his therapist was like, you at that point made a decision in your brain to never allow yourself to be angry because you didn't want to go back to that place of trying to hurt somebody to that degree. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just really, really a really interesting place because, as Skeens is saying, we all have trauma that we're dealing with in all different ways. And, what was just shocking to me, we can have these varying opinions, but as a man with a wife, with a mama, with sisters, at Skeens, with a mama, with sisters, with nieces, and we got all these people, the idea that I see that people are like, that's how a black man needs to show that he supports his woman. What are we really talking about? And what type of message are we giving? Because in our community schemes, we know people killed by proximity. Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. But when we're looking and here's the larger conversation that we need to have. Good, bad, or indifferent. In our community, there's a large number of young black men that are being raised just by their mother. Mm-hmm. The correlation is women argue me down. But the beauty of the man and woman being in place in a relationship is that in general, your father is gonna give you the example of a calm, cool, collective, logical sort of way of moving about. Your mother's a little bit more emotional. She's nurturing, but she's gonna give you some of that emotional intelligence that to a certain degree. But your father's going to teach you as a man how to move logically and not to be making erratic decisions based off of how I emotionally feel. So what do we have in our community, y'all? We got young men out here now where based off what you say to me, I'm going to have an emotional reaction to where I want to be violent towards you. And this ain't the old school when Skeens and I grew up in the, late 80s and early 90s where you just shoot the fair one with a cat. Mm-hmm. These kids now, and by way, again, we're super duper emotional by us plugged into the social media machine, but these kids just ain't shooting the fair one.
They're shooting,
y'all. And this is an example that we're saying by way of saying, these women want this humongous show of quote unquote masculinity. But in any other time, we're saying that if a man is unable to properly communicate his frustrations, that's toxic masculinity. Mm-hmm. But in this case, we're saying that we're applauding this show of quote unquote masculinity.
Toxic masculinity.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's toxic. Men, listen to me good. Nobody can tell you who you are. It's not about who somebody tells me who I am. Mm-hmm. I have to internally know who I am. I got to do the work to know who I am despite what I say. And Skeens and I, y'all out there, we're not 100-millionaire people, internationally famous Will Smith. Somebody on the street, your boss, whoever it may be, says something you don't like and you smack the fire out of them, there's consequences and repercussions to that. You and I ain't going to be able to get up on no stage afterwards and give a speech and accept an award after that.
And then have a celebration.
And then party at the Vanity Fair singing my songs like nothing happened, man. Yeah. We got to be held accountable for stuff like this. And this is exactly what's happening in our communities. And we just watched on one of the largest stages in the world, that this is how we deal when we're offended. Well,
also, let's talk about our community, for example.
Let's go.
Right? Let's touch on that. So, with these interactions,
yeah,
what irritates me about some of us, I've heard the discussion over and over. Oh, well, people, y'all out here saying that or talking about the way we acting, y'all care about the way we act in front of white people.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Skeens. Go ahead.
We care how we act in front of our people.
Yes.
More than anything.
Absolutely.
Because perception becomes reality. Unfortunately.
Yep.
So, go back to 2016.
Okay, let's go there, yeah.
When a lot of this, quote-unquote, started.
Yep.
Will and Jada wanted Chris Rock to boycott the awards.
Yes, because they said we didn't have enough representation.
Okay. Now, Chris told some jokes about them, about, hey, you saying that, but you wasn't invited. Now now watch this.
Yep.
Right.
Well, he said something to the effect about Jada's not even in movies. She's on TV.
Nobody watched.
And he said, Jada not coming to the Oscars is like me and Rihanna's panties. I was never invited. That's what he said.
Crack the joke.
Yeah.
But also within this, he also understands, hey, this is a conflict. I must make a joke out of it because what she did is a quote unquote dog whistle to the rest of the black community.
Yeah.
He ain't one of us because he's choosing to be with them.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
that's what that's what get lost.
Yeah,
understanding in that community, in the Hollywood world, but also understanding when we talk about coons and these things.
Yeah,
to say, hey, that conversation could have been held behind closed doors because you all know each other.
Right.
The same way we could have dealt with this situation behind closed doors. So people talk about, oh, he said something about Jada. Well, it initially started because you all went on national TV.
Yes.
And called him out for telling him he should boycott.
Right.
But that's the dog whistle.
Right. Yep.
He responded in the way that he knows how to.
Yeah.
In jokes.
Yes.
Right. But then keep going.
Keep going.
You said boycott then because you wasn't invited. Now
in 2022,
you got an award. You're showing up
front row.
If we're gonna boycott, we're gonna boycott.
Right.
Now, more of anything, when we're talking about y'all people caring about what we're doing in front of white folks, no. We care about us, so why don't we say, hey, all the black people or people of color or anybody who's been marginalized by those people,
right.
whoever that controls these different awards, we're going to do our own thing. All the marginalized people, we're going to create our own award show to show y'all we don't need y'all. Right. We don't need your approval. We don't need anything from you. Because what happens is they use a certain celebrity within our community. You use our name to get the looks.
Yes, absolutely.
But then when it's time for the award, you never get the awards.
Right.
But you use me to draw up ratings.
Yes.
Now we talk about this one. How West boycotted.
Yeah.
Well, what happens? You made them a lot of money. And you know why you made them a lot of money? Because of everything that took place outside of the award show.
Right.
This fiasco basically is giving the Oscars, which had their lowest ratings of all time.
Last year, y'all, and me and Skeens talked about this just for context. 1998, the year of Titanic. Great year movie wise, right? That movie made billion, whatever it was. It was the highest grossing film, 55 million people watched the Oscars. Again, 1998, y'all, it's a different time. No social media, no streaming, right? Last year, the Oscars had an all-time low of 10.5 million.
Exactly. So the Oscars is, once again, using the marginal to bump them up for next year, because everybody's going to tune in next year like, what they going to do this year?
Absolutely.
But also, what to get lost is, in the midst of all this nonsense, it was directed by by Will Packer.
He was the producer,
black man.
Yep.
Megan Thee Stallion, no matter how you feel about her, good or bad.
Megan, Beyonce.
She was the first black woman to rap.
Yep.
At this award.
Yep.
Like you said, Questlove was receiving an award.
Yes.
At this moment.
Listen to this, y'all. Just think about it.
And also, we're leaving out my man.
Yeah.
Samuel L. won a Lifetime Achievement Oscar. So all of these people.
And Will won Best Actor of the Year, all overshadowed.
And we're talking about us.
Yes.
We should have boycotted. Well, the time that we had an opportunity to be seen, heard, represented, and shown, and let the world see what kind of talent that they're missing out on.
Yep.
We have this.
There you go.
Does this not get now? For us that said, oh, we should boycott the award show in 2016. Well, 2022, the same people that you said that you talking about boycotting probably was like, we wish that y'all would have boycotted this year.
Right.
Because that perception becomes reality. Unfortunately,
yes,
we are too often are we prejudged by people that know nothing about us.
Right.
We have the opportunity to show them something different, and show them possibilities. We're not just talking about people in the dominant society or people outside of us. We're talking about us also.
Yeah.
Because part of the Cosby Show was we saw a possibility of a household that can be ran, co-parented, two people that's making good money, that's respected in their fields, that have a family, they sit, eat dinner, got kids, they have conversation. That is a possibility.
Yep.
The possibility of the Cosby Show spun the possibility which we had Barack Obama.
Yeah.
Same kind of household.
Right.
Regardless how you feel about him.
Yep.
We have a possibility to show other people within our community, hey, what's been told by all the fathers are never not in your life. Hey, this is an example that they are some good fathers.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, we're being told that you can't be anything other than the lowest of the low. Well, we were shown a model of possibility while we had the most powerful man in the free world for 8 years.
Yeah.
Which being shown something different.
Right.
But yet and still, if we show each other the stereotypes of the worst of us, it perpetuates the worst of us to us.
Yes. That's not what's most important. Yeah.
To us.
Yeah, and we have to be honest, y'all. And Skeens and I, especially me, I got a myriad of family and friends but this, it is what it is. As people, as black people, again, we're in these two places where, again, like he's saying, people are like, well, I'm like, you can't do that. Well, you care about what white people think. You care about what you're doing in white folks' show. But you can't want to be there and get their award, and then when you say that there's a certain decorum and a certain thing that we don't need to show on this international platform, you can't say, well, you're trying to put on for white people. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. There's just right and wrong.
And then we talk about we don't get invited to the table. We only got to sit at the table. Well, the table is here.
Yes.
Either A, we create our own table.
That's what we need to do.
Or B, if you're saying, because you can't say that you don't care about their representation, because look at all the name brand gear you got. There's none of the gear that you're wearing that's owned by someone that looks like you.
Thank you. So
even Michael Jordan.
Thank you. 100%. So the idea too, and let's go here. I saw Tiffany Haddish say it's one of the most beautiful things. I know she's just speaking in the moment, y'all, but she said it's one of the most beautiful things she ever seen. I see Carrie Champion, Jamel Hill on CNN. They talking about again. You gotta line it up too with what Kentanji just went through. You gotta look at that as well. And black women, because they haven't been protected. That y'all, we gotta have the conversation again. Skeens and I made an episode way back. You can look it up. Substance over symbolism. We want a whole bunch of symbolic stuff, and again, show, quote unquote, of protection, of, again, masculinity. Let's get down to the real nuts and bolts of what's got to happen substantively in our community. We have to heal.
Yes.
We have to heal. And we have to, first and foremost, I was talking to one of my sisters a couple days ago, and I was talking about skiing is that as much as I get fulfillment, there's a part of me, and I was talking about balance in life, right? Shout out to my one of my mentors, Eric Young, is always push balance on me. There's a part of me in balance that Skeens, as my brother, dude been there literally since the sandbox with me, I get a certain level of fulfillment in me from our brotherhood and our friendship as family. I get a certain level of fulfillment from my relationship with my parents. I get a certain level of fulfillment from my children. I get a great level of fulfillment from my marriage to my wife. But if I am not whole and healed and fulfilled within myself first, there's nothing that any of these people can do to make me be the best that I can be. There's nothing that will, because from the outside looking in, and I even seen people say, well, why so many folks be in their business? And y'all,
there's an invite.
There's some stuff, you guys, and again, to each his own, each his or her own. There's some things, especially dealing with relationships, that's not for public consumption. Mm-hmm. I actually applaud Will and Jada. If y'all can make it through an entanglement and still be together and in a healthy place for the family, that's beautiful, because Skeens and I never tell people what your make or break is in your relationship. Correct. And for that matter, I don't need to know all of the things in your relationship. That's for those two people. Mm-hmm. But when you open up Pandora's box and you basically pull the blinds on your entire life willingly and then monetize it, by Red Table Talk, by the deal Will had with YouTube. And he has some of the most inspirational videos, because I love his mind frame, his work ethic, all of that. But when you open up the shades and the blinds to your house like that, you can't then say, okay, why so many people in our mix and in our business? You
can't have the Truman Show and then be mad about the viewership.
I looked at y'all just on Facebook alone. Of course, people shared it and reposted it on other places and stuff. Facebook alone, that entanglement video has more views than people was probably going to even watch the Oscars. It has 38 million people have watched that.
So what does it tell us?
Go ahead.
We are addicted to the train wreck. But you also when you the touch back when you said about Carrie Champion was saying this is beautiful.
Yeah.
As you said, the beauty, it is a wonderful thing that a man is willing to stand up for women. Absolutely. Whether his woman or any woman that needs that protection.
Absolutely.
Right. But what really would have been beautiful?
Yep. Yeah, let's go there.
When he got up.
Let's go there.
To go on stage.
Yep.
The beauty would have been say, hey, I'm going to stop you from crashing and burning.
Absolutely.
On my behalf. Absolutely. I appreciate the fact that you're willing to stand up for me. Absolutely. But I'm going to stand up for you as well, to stop you from doing something that you're going to regret or something, because as I say, I'm not going to say may have regretted, because he may have been okay with the outcome. Right. Because Chris Rock could have sued.
Yep.
Chris Rock could have pressed charges.
Yes.
The Oscars could have pressed charges.
Yes.
Now, if he's okay with any time that was served, if he would, because with an assault, there was going to be some time if Chris would have really pushed the envelope.
We were talking about schemes or not because it ain't a hard case to prove.
I got evidence. So let's just say temporary insanity.
Yeah.
But either way it go, whether you're willing to risk it all,
right?
I'm not going to allow you to do such,
right?
Because it's bigger than this moment.
Absolutely,
our family is bigger than this moment.
Yeah,
because okay, you go slap Chris. Somebody on Chris, and this is what happens. This is the continuation of, especially being from the hood.
Yeah.
One of the worst things that can happen if you, as a man, slap another man.
Oh yeah, it's disrespect,
at home.
Man.
At home, the second you slap somebody, your black suit is already picked out for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's an understanding.
Yeah.
But let's not go that far. What if it would have went that way?
Yeah.
Someone on Chris' behalf, jump out the window.
Yeah.
On Chris' behalf and say, hey, look here, I'm not going to let you make a fool, assault my guy, family member, friend, or it can be an associate. It can be a deranged Chris Rock stan.
Yeah.
Because that slap is going to live in perpetuity.
Absolutely.
On the net. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to get some get back on Chris' behalf.
Right.
What if Chris say, hey, I'm triggered, I feel trauma after being slapped, and I'm being bullied now and being humiliated because at every turn there's videos of the slap, there's memes, these people are bullying me or cracking jokes, and I retaliate in a fatal manner.
Yeah.
It ain't funny no more.
Right.
Now, this is how we have the continuation of bloodshed. You take eye for an eye. Old Bill, I take one of yours, you take one of mine.
Right.
We're never getting anywhere because it's a repetitive cycle of removing chess pieces off the board for nothing.
Right. And I think too, as we grow, mature, and heal, I can't be in a space and this is, from my point of view. The full view, I've talked about it before. Shout out to Pastor Anthony McMillan. He had a book, Seasons of Masculinity, The Masculine Journey or whatever. And again, the quick breakdown basically, y'all, is that as men, our masculinity is just not, again, in hero mode, slap you up mode. There's seasons to it.
Yeah.
And a part of my masculinity, again, y'all, some of y'all are going to think that me and Schemes are saying that there ain't never a time to slap a cat up. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, what Chris Rock did was not that time.
No, it wasn't.
Now, if somebody, again, y'all, is just, I would even, if he would have been like, JD, you bald headed. And that dude, for me, it's just like, hey, yo, watch your mouth, man. Well, yo, chill out. If a dude is trying to affect the person of someone in your family.
There you go.
Now, here is our version of the man rules. He says something to you that you feel, again, to me, that's a lightweight joke. We are comedic. We've been watching comedy since we weren't supposed to be watching Def Jam and stuff and stinking and watching Eddie Murphy and all that kind of stuff. So my level of offense is, to offend me, I really don't have one, y'all. Not by words. I'm sorry. I really don't. That's just me. And I know everybody's not like that, right? So I give credence to that. But he says something to her. Hey, you might shout something out. Hey, Chris, yo, I'm going to need to see if you keep talking up. Watch your mouth, whatever. There's too many people, Schemes, that's connected to the. I'm sure he got Chris' number in his phone right now. Yeah. But if not, hey, is it Sam Jack? Is it Denzel? Is it Tyler? Whoever. Hey, me and him need to have a conversation. Or, hey, I need to go back to the dressing room and holler at him. So as men, you have the conversation. Hey, yo, what you said offended me and my wife.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, when you just have the conversation, that person's going to say,
What's going to happen?
Man, you know what? I didn't mean to offend her. Man, let me apologize to Jada, man.
And he may have apologized in public if he known of the offense. Now we're showing that we can have positive conflict resolution.
Absolutely.
But also, side note.
Yep, side of a side.
What if you know in Hollywood they pitch ideas left and right?
Right.
Oh my God, it's a great idea.
Right.
What if Jada, somebody in there said, "You got Jane too? Hold on,
Man, we might need to.
Hey Jada, what up? Holla. Hey, you want the role?
You know what I'm saying?
You don't know what kind of blessings are available or that's out there for you.
Yes.
If you open up the windows of possibility.
Right.
So you could have blown a bag that possibly could have came her way.
Right.
We don't know that.
We don't.
But in Hollywood, they throw ideas and pitch stories
all the time.
They have
some mess come
their
up.
quote unquote decks.
Yep.
You know, all the time they throw of these different things.
Yep.
I think that's what they were saying. That's how the Fresh Prince reboot came.
Yeah. Because
somebody threw a deck on social media.
They did. That's how it came
video.
That's how it came about.
Preview. Hey,
it's turned into a whole show.
Now it's a show.
Yeah.
But like I said, if Chris didn't know, hey, you go holler at him. One, hey, you have the conversation.
Yep.
And if he gives you the right, give you the answer you're looking for, now, hey, he go out here and apologize in public.
Yep.
If he don't give you the answer you want, hey, you behind closed doors, you handle your business. But also another beautiful thing was doing your speech. If he didn't know or other people didn't know that she was dealing with the alopecia, he could have went up there and told people, hey, this is the most beautiful woman in the world.
Yeah.
She's dealing with these things and it hasn't broke her.
There you go.
And I appreciate her for everything that she's done in my life and my kids and being with me. And I'm going to be with her through thick and thin and dealing with what she's dealing with the same way. Yeah. Now we're showing protection.
Yes, there you go. That's how you protect your family. As he said, that's how you drive. From now on. So let's do this, though. Another part men and women have been divided on. Is there a difference? Is there a double standard for how men can be critiqued and joked on versus how women can be critiqued and joked on? So I'll shout out to my cousin Damani and his co-host on the Trying to Be Grown podcast. But Damani, I thought, I was with your mans though. So LeBron, KD, whoever, they came up with the term hatfish for dudes' hairline going back with losing our hair, all this kind of stuff. Cats get killed for it. They get killed online for it. They get clowned all day, every day. So again, we're saying that the difference is that the black woman is, her hair is her crown of glory. So it's looked at differently. But while I get that, and we don't want to make fun of something going on with a person, I don't think anybody is above me being made fun of. Bruh. One. Number two.
I don't want no scrub. They had a theme song.
Bruh. Number two, for me, and ladies argue with me if you want to, there's a time when y'all pick and choose when you want equality. You pick and choose when you want equality. When it's dealing with this, now we ain't the same. When it's dealing with that, I want us to be the same. We wanted the right to vote. It's okay. Y'all gonna be in the draft. Wait, hold on. You know what I'm saying? So that conversation is a part of it. I think the overall idea and the thought of that Skeens and I are trying to convey is that we got to make it cool to communicate. We got to make it cool. I seen some of the homies like, hey, man, that's how I go around the way you get slapped. You say something wrong. Is that right, though, y'all? I know that's what has happened in our neighborhoods and in our communities and when we've been out and about. Is it right? Is it warranted? Is it a healthy way of dealing with conflict? Because it's so elementary that I don't tell my son that if he's at school and somebody says something to him that he doesn't like, that he has free reign to slap another kid up or punch him. Mm-hmm. I don't tell him that. I don't tell him that. Right now, Skeens, if we're sitting in here and my youngest, Jason Ace, if he's going crazy, we're trying to teach him to use his words. What's wrong? He'll come up. He's crying to y'all. He's telling us, I'm crying. Well, we know you crying, but why? Why are you crying? He's 2 years old, y'all. We're trying to get him to be able to communicate and process his thoughts and how he feels, even when he's in an emotional moment. We're trying to teach that to him as a 2-year-old, Skeen. Well, he's 2. I'm trying to teach him that now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what gives us as grown folk, if you saying something that I don't like, that is warranted for you to add him to the slapper hole tribe? You understand what I'm saying? So I've seen people that are like, if you're opposed to this idea, I'm like, for me, I'm just like, where's the line at then?
Well, but then if you...
And here we talked about this too, y'all. During that telecast, I forgot about, Regina Hall made a joke about them, laughed it off. That I can't remember if it was an Oscar night or from one of the other award nights. There's a transgender host. She made an entanglement joke. They laughed about it. The question has been brought up if Chris Rock was, because here's the thing, y'all. I've seen some people say Will went into a rage, and you know when you got rage, you black out, blind rage, all that. Do you honestly think if a woman comedian would have made the same joke that Will Smith goes up there and smacks a woman in the face?
No.
If Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was up there and made that joke, everybody loves The Rock. You know what I'm saying? He sound like a politician already. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jada, Will, love you. Seeing G.I. Jane 2, they be like, Dwayne. You think Will gonna go up there and smack?
No.
Will strategically made a business decision in his head. Y'all, Chris Rock while he ain't as short as me, he about my weight. Will outweigh him probably about a solid, at
70.
least, I'm going to shoot low and say I weigh him about 50 pounds.
70.
You know what I'm saying?
But also, if it was blind rage, right?
Yeah.
Blind rage is an impulsive movement.
Yeah.
Is an impulsive reaction.
Yeah.
How did Will go up on the stage?
Calm, cool, collective. He didn't run up there, y'all. He didn't jog.
Blind rage would have meant I'm there 0 to 100.
He slapped him and smirked and walked off.
He slapped him. He smirked. He fixed his suit.
He did.
And slowly strolled off.
Right.
That's not rage.
Right.
That's you can't do this to me, and I'm going to embarrass you for trying to embarrass me.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
That was ego at its finest.
Yeah, that's the biggest. That's
at his
a great
worst.
piece of the conversation.
This is the finest example of ego at its worst.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And then he asks, whose ego is it?
Yeah.
Right? He was protecting her. Not only was he protecting his ego,
he's protecting hers.
He was protecting hers.
Yeah.
So then, in the midst of protecting hers, now show how they're not together.
Okay.
He's protecting hers while protecting his.
Yep.
But when that slap, he's not slapping Chris.
Yeah. He's
slapping the ghost of Tupac.
Yes. Yep.
Because right or wrong, he's still living in his man's shadow. His daughter wrote a letter. You showed me the letter.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know it. There's a letter that Willow wrote a letter to Tupac basically to come back because her mommy's been sad.
He's slapping his dad.
There you go. I was going to say that.
Because he felt powerless.
He's slapping all of us that have been critical of them in social media and stuff.
Everyone. Yeah. And also, and as well, he's somewhat slapping her.
Yeah.
Oh,
he definitely slapping her.
He definitely slapping her. I can't slap you.
Yeah, but I'm slapping you.
But you getting slapped vicariously through Chris Rock for putting me in this position to take these jokes and to be and to deal with trauma that have I'm being triggered from the stuff I didn't deal with when my dad was attacking my mom and I was weak.
Right.
So now I'm helpless again. That was a universal slap that had so many layers that people are not really paying attention to.
Right.
Chris was just a vessel to accept it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a key point, man. And it's also key, you know, we always talk about trying to suppress, and that's a forever battle for me. I think a forever battle for all of us, that we're balancing our ego. You know what I'm saying?
But this is part of when us as men are told to shut up and dribble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hold on. Shut up and dribble. But then when we don't have an outlet to correctly unpack these things, The only tool in our toolbox is this toxic masculinity.
We lean back on that. Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
We go back caveman because we're not giving the tools or the safe or provided a safe place to remove these things that stain us from within.
That's real.
And because I'm staying within, somebody got to take this residue when it comes out.
Right. Yep. I got to inflict this. Somebody got to get this.
Yeah.
They said that anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I remember that J line. Anybody can get it. Like, what did he say? Something in your two-way. I can't remember that line.
Yeah.
Anyway, but you know, I don't want this to be. You know, I don't. Let me say this.
Can you forgive if you're Chris Rock? Can you forgive a man for slapping you?
That's a question.
I would hope that you don't have to be friends.
Yeah.
I hope that healing is done on both sides.
There you go.
And you can amicably coexist.
Yes.
In whatever space that may be.
Right. I want there to, be healing on all sides. Again, Skeens, we already did an episode on forgiveness. I'm telling y'all, man, we be ahead of the curve. Y'all ain't gave us our prop shit, man. Cut the check, somebody. But but really, am I saying that Will Smith cannot come back from this? No. Am I saying that any of us should be only looked at evaluated from our lowest moment? No. But what Skeens and I do want to talk about, again, is the greater conversation as men. What is masculinity? What does that look like? How do we protect our women? Right? And I'm talking about in a healthy way. In a healthy way. We got to think about what, again, the trauma and the learned behaviors that we have become accustomed to. If as men and women in our community, we feel like this is the way that we solve disputes. And we have to be open and honest about that stuff that we haven't dealt with and how that is detrimental for where we're trying to go. Skeens, I thought about this, bro. Again, how we're we're trying to live on both sides of y'all trying to capitulate for the white man. Skeens, for the most part, when a cat win a BET or Soul Train award, they not up there crying when they give an acceptance speech. But if they win a Grammy or an Oscar, they're in tears. Why is that?
Great question.
Rhetorical question. Rhetorical question. You get a Grammy or an Oscar, you are in tears. When your own people appreciate you, oftentimes these cats don't show up for the award.
Very true.
What is that? We got to do that work. What is that?
Someone have to accept on your behalf.
What is that, y'all? And we saw that here. We saw some of that here. Take the conversation and take it a little bit further. As long as we have had elites in entertainment, we should have we've talked about this before. We should have our own hub for music, our own hub for film. As long as we've had these elites, we should have a faction of which I follow a black farming thing on Facebook. Black farmers provide our own food. Retail. Where can we get our basic needs? Toothpaste. Shampoo.
Yep.
Soap.
Yep.
But we get into these places and this twisted up mind frame that we have from being in this space in this country. We got Jim Jones complaining in the Gucci store. Stop fooling with Gucci.
There you go. But
you want to really impact Skeens. As much as I disagreed with the implementation of the movement from Colin Kaepernick, we ain't watched a football game in this house.
Since.
But the majority of us are still buying the merch, going to the games, getting the NFL package. What are we talking about? And I'm taking this further, but Skeez, I had this conversation. I was like, the part of the cap thing that, again, how our mind is twisted, cap on, like I said, we be trying to live in both of these spaces, and I can't figure it all the way out yet. I don't have all the answers, y'all. But Cap is saying that being in the NFL, he equated it to slavery. But as we stand right now, a couple weeks ago, he released a video to the slave master saying he wants to be back on the plantation. And I would venture to say, y'all, that our forefathers were definitely not compensated tens of millions of dollars to be slaves. But where's this crazy space that we live in? I can't explain it. How did we get here, man?
Or if you're calling it slavery, I had to look it up. I'm not for sure if there's any slaves years after slavery,
right,
that was fighting to get back on the plantation.
On the plantation. If there were, it was because, again, we talk about the slave mind.
The Stockholm Syndrome.
I was telling Skeens, we were sitting the other day, I was like, bro, just think about this. You know, Skeens and I have aspirations to have, you know, companies together. And I said, bro, what if somebody came and sued us for illegal practices, whatever it is, right? And we had to settle with them. I said, bro, wouldn't it be crazy if that person came back and said they want to work back at the company? Would you hire me? He's like, absolutely not. I said, exactly. Like our boy Tony Roberts said, he had a bodyguard. I had a bodyguard get knocked out. He said he came back to where he said, you quit. He said, when your back hit the ground. When we settled out of court, but when we had that but I don't know, I'm rambling, but you get what I'm saying. We got to get to a place in our community where we love each other enough to give each other the grace to say, I'm mad. I feel offended by you, but I love me and you enough to say, let's sit down. Let's pull up at the table. Let's get some of the elders here together. Let's break some bread together so we can break these curses that have plagued our community.
Step one is us realizing that we are enough.
You are enough. I'm enough. We are enough. We gotta love each other enough to not see what we saw with Will Smith. Even when you hurt my feelings, even when you offend me, right? I love people. You see it on resumes, you look at a people person. The true measure of if I'm a people person, do I love you when you're not doing what I want you to do? Or is it transactional? Shout out to Zoe Williams. Is it just when you're doing what I want you to do that I love you? How do we love each other? How do we love our children? How do I love my mom and my daddy? How do I love my wife in spite of?
And how do we get there?
How do we get there? It's been another episode of How Did We Get Here? Thank you all for tuning in. And let us know what you think, man. Let's argue. Let's fuss. Let's fight. Hopefully we'll have some stuff up soon where you guys can come on like a little live with us and, you know, we have some discussion. I would love to hear from my brothers and a lot of women that have some opposing views to that. But at the end of the day, as we always say, love, peace, and blessings to you all. We'll see you on the next one.